we're baling the second cut hay. Very, very nice hay. Got quite a bit to go. And we're going to jump on the front because we're losing our sun and it is getting cloudy. Wrap it up tonight right there. Still gonna have probably 8 acres left or something like that. I'm sorry, 8 acres here. There's gonna be like 4 over there. 12 altogether out of almost just shy of 50. So didn't do too bad. Square baled a few loads over there, and then we ground baled from here all the way over there, way over there. Alright, we'll finish up these last couple windrows. Alright, so we're baling some more hay today. We'll fire the tractor up, let it warm up for a second. It's already kind of warm, but it's nice to let it run for a little bit. So, got all the bales picked up. And we just got to finish baling this last, I don't know, 12 acres or something like that. So kind of over the hill. And then we got 20 acres tomorrow. We'll be baling for silage. So, because tomorrow it's not going to be a nice day. We'll be wrapping some more hay. So, I'm going to grab my gear and get to it. Well, I got my little helper with me today, Jace, and we are working on cleaning up the meters, aren't we, Jace? Mm-hmm. What are we doing? We got to clean all these brushes up? Mm-hmm. Yep. So we are tearing them apart, taking them actually all the way apart, stripping them down, and maybe not all guys do this, but this is how I do it. Cleaning the brushes all up, blowing it all out, putting it back together. You have to be very careful you don't hurt this brush right here using compressed air. You don't want to hurt it, but I like to get them all cleaned up, make sure everything's out of it, blow the housings out, and then put them back together. And then we're stacking all the soybean plates over here, and we will hang these. We'll hang these on a pipe like that. So, and then these, once it is reassembled, we will stack it kind of sitting face down like that, you know, one after the other. They say it's, I don't know, I've been told that's what some guys do to let the brushes kind of help relax and, if anything, straighten out rather than try to, you know, bend down over time. So that's what we're working on today, and I got my little helper. Say hi, Jace.
Hi.
All right, let's get back to it. All right, so we're gonna tear, probably should pre-loosen this, man, it's coming. We're gonna tear it apart and show you what it looks like before doing anything. And again, we're really kind of late getting to this. It's been a little while. It probably ain't gonna be, it won't be quite when this video is released, but it wasn't much sooner than that. So this one's actually not bad, but you can see there's some partial beans down in there. There's a bean there, a few there, because I dumped the meters out when we pulled them off the boxes, but you just don't get them all out. So like right, you can see there's probably a partial bean down in there, a partial bean there, a partial or whole, I say partial or whole bean down in there. And rather than just try to blow this all out, you have to basically blow down into the brush. That's really hard on it. So it's just easier, in my opinion, to disassemble it all, clean it all up, and then put it back together. So here's a perfect example of why I tear them apart. That was all in, oh, hold on. That was all in and under this blue brush. And I just don't feel like you could ever really get that out effectively without pulling it out. So, and then there's a bunch of graphite mixed over here. And I should say, this is my bean meters. We'll be doing the core meters here in a little bit. But I just don't see how you can get all that out not effectively and without taking them out. So I take them out, get them all cleaned up, and it's good to go. So, all right, so I got all my bean meters cleaned up. They're all over here on the ground. We're gonna get them put on a shelf here in a little bit. And now we're working on the corn meters. One thing to note, being that this is not a brush meter, they're not gonna be as hard to clean up, because with this you gotta make sure them brushes are all clean, or with this you just wanna make sure there's not any corn seeds in the fingers or down in the bottom of the meter or in the belt or the housing where the belt is. So basically we're just gonna be taking an air gun, lightly cleaning it all up and making sure it's good to go. Where this one, you know, we had to make sure the brushes were all very, very clean. The only brush on the corn meter is right there. I wanted to explain how they work. So this meter would be bolted to the box. The box would come down right here. And the beans would come in here and fill this cavity down here at the bottom. So basically you would have beans like down in here in this lower third or to half of the meter, or of the meter housing. So this brush right here keeps beans from going over into here, which is where they drop down into the seed trench. And then this brush here, it starts to separate them and get them able to be lined up in the ring. So this plate bolts onto here like this and rotates. And as it comes around, it's gently pushing up against this brush right here and this brush right here. And between these two brushes, they work together to put one bean, hopefully put one bean in each one of these slots in this 60 cell bean plate. If you have big beans, you have to get a 48 cell, and I probably will, because I ran some pretty good sized beans through these, and I definitely think it hurt my singulation. Singulation being how well you're spacing and putting down your seed. Yeah, so this spins around, and what it does is it holds a bean in every one of these spots, and your blue brush helps hold that bean in there until it gets around to here, and then it lets it drop out. So this brush helps make sure that beans don't get over here when they shouldn't be, and this brush helps start to get the beans spread out so that each one drops into each hole in the cell, and then the blue brush holds it as it comes around. So kind of interesting and neat. So this is a finger pickup meter. So similar concept. The box would bolt right here, and this area would be all covered in. The seed would drop in right there. That bottom third of the meter would be filled with seed. So on this one, you have these little fingers, hence the finger pickup, that spin around, okay? So they spin around, and as they go down in the bottom, you can tell as they're coming down, they're opening up. So right here, it is fully closed. Right here, it is starting to open up. And as it goes down in the bottom, it grabs a seed. So it's on an eccentric. So as the finger comes around, it's shut, it drops the seed, it starts to come up, picks the seed up, holds it, and comes around. There's this brush up here, which helps knock an extra seed. Say a second seed got stuck somewhere on it or in it, it would help knock it off to help with your singulation so that only one corn seed is being picked up with each arm. So them little arms though, come down, pick a seed up, come around and drop it off, and it's on an eccentric so that they are sprung, held in here, and then they're out as they come down. So you can see they're spring loaded out and in. Hopefully you can see that all right in the video. Yeah, so they're spring loaded down. So you get a seed in there, it holds it down. It holds it down till it gets to here, and it drops it in this hole. Now, there's a belt in the back side of the meter housing, and that belt comes down, and as it spins, it drops the seed into the seed tube. An interesting design, but that is supposed to help make your singulation very well. And with a finger pickup meter, so I rebuilt these last winter with Precision. It's an aftermarket company for planting parts or all kinds of parts. I rebuilt these with Precision meter kits, and with those new kits, and as long as it was put together right and everything's good, you should be able to get very, very good singulation. You should be able to cut down on your skips and doubles, because the goal is with corn especially, it is not so important with beans, but you still want to try to get them spaced evenly as well. But it is very important with corn that you get them spaced every certain amount of inches. So for our population area, it's a roughly 6 inches. It's very important to try to get it placed every 6 inches and not have a double and then a skip, because if you have a double here, you're not going to have one here. So you're going to have 12 inches between seeds rather than 6. So if your meters are in really good shape and set up right, you should be able to do a pretty good job of getting a seed every 6 inches or whatever that inch is, or whatever that spacing is, and not have any doubles or skips. So they did pretty good this year. I was pretty happy with how they did. One thing to note too is, with a finger pickup meter, you do not want to go over more than about 5 miles an hour. They do a really good job up to that point. Any faster, even with rebuilt meters, and they'll start having issues. There are vacuum meters on a lot of the newer planters. With those, you can get up to 7-8 miles an hour, but with the finger pickups, about 5 is your max. So I just thought it was interesting, wanted to explain how they work. I take for granted things like this because I just deal with them and I know how they work. And sometimes I think, man, I really need to show how this works in case somebody doesn't know and would like to know. So that's how your meters work. At least a brush bean meter and a finger pickup corn meter. This is not the only style they have, but it is the main style nowadays for 15-inch and 30-inch soybeans and 30-inch corn.